From the Crush Studio in sunny Florida, this is the Disney Crush Podcast. And now your two tempests in a teacup, Dave and Tony Ann.
On this week's The Disney Crush Podcast, Disney experts hit Universal, Epic Universe. Our friends Glenn and Rebecca join us to tell us all about their trip to Universal Studios' Epic Universe, the brand new park. What did they eat? Who did they see? What did they do? We'll find out on episode 401 of the Disney Crush Podcast.
Yeah, I'm so interested in Epic Universe, and I can't wait to find out all about it.
I do want to let everybody know we're both having a storm tonight, so you're going to hear thunder and lightning in the background. Hopefully, we'll be able to finish recording this podcast. I think the worst of it's over, though.
I thought this was sunny Florida.
Yeah.
This is the Crush Studio in sunny Florida. What's up with all this stuff? Yeah, right before the show started, I lost power, you lost power.
Yeah, we both did. Yeah.
And a huge wind storm came through. I almost thought it was a tornado. And in fact, Veronica left the RV and went for a safer place, which is close by. And because things were moving and rocking, and boards were flying, chairs were flying, it was bad. But we are here recording.
Wow.
You can't stop us.
Yeah. No, this is what we do for our listeners.
Right on.
You know what I realized after we finished recording episode 400? I teased through the whole episode that I was going to read what I had sent to Trey.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I never did.
No, I know. Well, I tell you what I did is I realized that because you said it twice. You said it kind of towards the front, and then you said it again kind of midway. But there again, see, this is another thing that happens is when you were talking about it, I can't remember now. I just finished editing it, and I can't remember if I took them both out or I just took one out or I didn't.
Oh, okay.
But I know I'm pretty sure I took one of them out, but one I couldn't because it was in the conversation and it would sound funny. You know what I mean? It would chop it up too much, and I would have had to take out a whole bunch more, and then it would have been not good.
That's all right. I'll post it in the group. I'll post the screenshot of it. Actually, I have a really nice graphic of it.
Yeah, you can make a whole post about it. That would be cool. But yeah, you did not. If you want to do it today, you can do it today. At the end of the show, say at the end of the show, I'm gonna read what I was gonna read on our last show.
If I remember.
Yeah, now you won't remember. I know. Yeah, you're still having some problems. You know, you remind me of me because I have a hard time coming up with words, and I'm a mess. I shouldn't be podcasting, to be honest with you, because I'm just a mess.
Well, you do a great job.
But you still haven't got it all back because there's a couple times in there again. I was like, you're repeating yourself. Like you'll say something and then you'll say it again, the exact thing, same thing. Which is easy because I just have to take out one of them. I'm like, wait a minute, she just repeated.
That's why I haven't been cleared to go back to work because my work is very, even though I do hands-on patient care, then when I'm done with the patient care, I have to sit down and document what I did. And the charting is probably the biggest part of my job. And if I can't get my words together, it makes it really hard.
Well, as a medical professional, I agree. I'm going to keep you home too. I'm going to make sure that you have to stay home.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're not ready. You're fine to podcast because I can edit some of that stuff out and make you sound just beautiful. But
okay,
yeah, I'm gonna keep you home.
David.
Yes, ma'am.
I think I see our guests have arrived. Rebecca Rudin and Glenn Kessler. Epic Universe.
I know. I can't wait to hear about this. I am so excited to find out about it because I really want to go. Almost went not too long ago, and something happened. It always happens. I was supposed to go to Deirdre last year, a friend of ours, and that didn't work out. The planets haven't aligned yet for me to go. So they will.
Very operative because there's a lot of planet motifs in there. But Dave, you're going to want to go after this trip report.
All right. So you guys went to Epic. You guys had been planning this for a while, right?
We actually haven't been planning it for a while.
You just wanted to get there.
We wanted to go, and I think it was when like previews first opened. Like, how long ago did we book this? Not that long ago. A couple months.
Months, but like we were not the people that like the first time we heard about a new theme park being built, we're like, oh, we got to get there. It was not until some of the leaks and spoilers and the images, and I think Rebecca's going to reveal this at some point tonight. She has favorite characters, like obsession level characters. And when she started hearing that they were meetable and pettable, that was the deal breaker. And then we were just looking for opportunities to squeeze it in to make it happen.
Right, because you had a Disney trip planned for the beginning of July, right? So,
yeah, originally I wanted to wait a couple of years even until like the hype died down, and then I couldn't control myself. So I called Glenn and was like, so.
Once you decided you were going, what was it that you wanted to do? I think I know what Rebecca wanted to do, but
let Glenn go first then.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I've never been to either of the two other epic theme parks except a quick Hollywood Horror Nights, and I've not experienced those. And I personally really don't have much desire to do those, except maybe the kids would want to do Harry Potter. But this theme park sounded amazing. And when we started hearing the early buzz that it was going to be kind of Disney level, the excitement of there actually being a completely new theme park in Orlando at that level that we've never stepped foot in, don't know anything about the floor plan, don't know anything about, every nook and cranny, every corner, every strategy, how I love to plan. And yet it was themed to so many of our favorite franchises, from Harry Potter, which is beloved in both my house and Rebecca's, Nintendo, which I grew up on, child of the 80s, and How to Train Your Dragon, which we have both become absolutely in love with over the last couple of really just months. I think I was surprised, Rebecca, how recently you had started to get into that franchise and how quickly your obsession grew.
And I love monsters too.
Right.
I don't know if Glenn loves monsters as much as I do, but I love horror. I was obviously most excited to meet Toothless.
I know.
To see the baby Night Furies. But I was also really excited. Harry Potter's like my number one franchise that I love. So I was really excited for the ride in the new land.
And you have been to the other theme parks, right?
Yeah, I have.
Rebecca tried to stay pretty spoiler free, like in terms of ride throughs and even tips and tricks. I just get these like really weird texts of hers, like articles and reels and stuff. She's like, I'm not looking, but tell me what's in this one. Is this a spoiler? Is this a thing? So then I became the planner and the organizer, and I started to get really excited about what was coming. And I avoided ride throughs. I do try to always avoid that, even at Disney World. But I wanted to know enough to be able to help us both navigate the parks, anticipating that it might be a little busy since we're inside of just a couple of months of it opening. But it stoked my interest and my excitement a little bit more, and then got me excited about it. Rebecca's a fastidious planner and an excellent planner, has planned incredible large meets and everything. So planning the two of us would have been nothing. But I wanted to give her that gift of being able to stay spoiler free and experience this fresh and clean. So then the game became me having the opportunity to be a tour guide for a tour guide, and the added excitement and pressure of that. Everyone knows how exciting it is to go to our beloved Disney World with new people, with new friends, family members, and see the excitement on their faces as they experience things that we've seen a million times, for the first time. But this really, truly was something that we both got to experience for the first time. I got to have my emotions, kind of inspired by some of the planning, and just to watch her just geek out over so many of the twists and turns and characters and experiences and rides was awesome.
Well, what was your strategy then for dealing with the crowds, the wait times? Did you guys incorporate Express Pass or rope drop? Any advice for someone maybe that's going for the first time?
Yeah, so what we did, because I've been to the other Universal parks, so we wound up doing 2 days, because we thought one day for a brand new park that we had never seen anything felt too little. But we only did Express Pass for 1 day, because from knowing the other two parks, I knew with the Express Pass that we could really hit every ride within 1 day with the Express Pass. And that the other day, our focus was going to be really exploring the lands, more, eating around, drinking, going into every single shop, going like really exploring. And that's kind of what we did. And right now, and I'm assuming for the next couple of years, Express Pass is not included in a deluxe resort stay. And for Epic, you have to buy single day tickets if you want to go more than one day. So it was a pricey endeavor, but it felt like if we were going to do it, we were going to really like do it right the first time.
Yeah, we did do one night. Actually, we did 2 nights, but originally the plan was to just do one night at Helios, which is their deluxe level hotel. It's the one that's attached to the park. It's like in the park at I guess that's the north end of the park. We did like at the last minute decide to fly in the night before and stay at, is that a moderate level or what do we call it? Stella Nova?
I do think I do think they would consider that moderate for them based on the layout and everything. I think I don't think it's considered value for them.
I only pause because it's like a big hotel building. And I think of moderates at Disney as being these like sprawling, lots of little casitas and tiny little villas all over. So it wasn't that, but it was, I guess price point wise and amenities wise, a moderate. But anyway, we flew in there and our flights got delayed and we only got about a half hour before the bar even closed to settle ourselves and feel like we were connected to the place at the Stella Nova. But that gave us the opportunity then to take a short Uber. I mean, like really short, like 90-second Uber over to Helios to be able to check in. And we can go over more procedures like that, if strategizing the way that we did. At 7 a.m., they open up their, I guess you could call it the concierge desk, but it's like their ticket counter at the hotels. And that allows you to then be able to get your ticket access for that day, your express pass, all those, kind of items that you would be using that day. And they are paper passes. You can scan your face in before your visit at home or during the visit. And that can be the way that you get into the park just with your face, which was really cool. Disney, I don't think quite has that, but that was a really neat opportunity. Not everyone was using that, but we did. We woke up pretty early at our Stella Nova hotel, checked out, brought our luggage. There is no luggage transfer. Sorry, that Disney wins that one. But carried our luggage in our Uber over to Helios, and we were there 6:30 or something like that, just enough time, maybe 6:55 actually, as I recall.
Yeah, we were just about 7.
So someone took a little longer getting ready that morning, and at 6:55 we were there, and at 7 a.m. we were able to get our tickets and grabbed a quick bite to eat and started standing in the rope drop line that's inside of the hotel, which Helios I think is the only one that provides that opportunity to line up inside of your hotel. There's only 2 access points to Epic. This one, let me call it the north end, and then on the south end would be the actual normal entry gate. And they opened the gates at 8 o'clock is about when they started. No, I shouldn't say gates. They opened up our hotel's,
security
tap point to be able to get in. And we were able to get in there, and we lined up pretty early for 8. We knew 8 a.m. was the time they were going to let us through. So I think both days we were in that line about 7:30, 7:10, probably the second day, because we really had a plan that we'll get to in a minute as we tell our story, that we needed to be first in line on the second day. But on the first day, about 7:30, and that put us 20th in line, which was very good. And then they hold you, they let you snake through some outdoor area, and they hold you there till approximately 9 o'clock. We got in a few minutes early, and that gives resort guests early access for anywhere from, a half hour,
an hour. Yeah, right now they open at 10 and resort guests can get in at 9.
So it was a very organized process. The lines were courteous. People would let you jump out and, get your coffee and come back. And it went very smoothly. The lines, we did not get to see the end of the lines, but I've seen videos since that line gets very long as the morning goes on into 8 o'clock. So I would only recommend that if you have taken the plunge and are staying at a very expensive place like a Helios, that you give yourself just that extra half hour, get out there before 8 o'clock. Otherwise, I think you're going to squander your advantage that you're paying all that money for.
So what was that strategy the second day?
Plan was always to rope drop both days, but like we said, the strategy for day 1 was rides. The strategy for day 2 was just exploring. But we had both heard tips that Ministry of Magic is best to go on at park closing, that the line gets really short. And that's one of the rides that doesn't go down for weather.
Okay.
And it's one of the main attractions. So the line during the day is easily 3-4 hours long. So the strategy is to go at the end of the night. That was our strategy. We were, ready to do it. It's 8:30. The park closes at 9. We get out of a show. We're like, let's not go over quite yet. Let's wait a few more minutes. At 8:40, ride is at capacity and shuts down. Not shuts down, like they shut the queue.
So they cut off the line they cut off the queue for the night.
Yeah, at 8:20, as we popped out of a show in the Harry Potter land, we were right there. We could have walked over, but it was still listing a 60-minute wait. So with 30 minutes to wait, 60, let's wait a few more minutes. So we ordered a butterbeer crepe and sat in, gorgeous Paris and dined on our butterbeer crepe. I'm watching the app, to check the numbers as the wait time is going down. It never really went down, except that at 8:40, it went offline and said at capacity. And my heart sunk. Rebecca got somewhere between very sad and very angry. And we then had to run over there. I ran over as fast as I could. And when we got there, they were it was 1 minute to walk over there. They were already shooing people away and said, we are at capacity for the night. I did lodge a customer complaint. They said, we don't want the queue going on, all hours of the night.
Right.
But Donkey Kong was at 90 minutes and something else was at 90 minutes. Stardust Racers, I think, was at 90 minutes. And they didn't shut those down, but they shut Ministry down at a 60-minute queue.
Interesting. 20
minutes before the park closed. And I don't know if they anticipate breakdowns or long delays of people taking photos, but that was, we thought, a really egregious situation. So I lodged a complaint. That's really one of very few negatives we had on this trip.
I seem to recall that when Pandora first opened, that Disney was doing that. But Pandora was getting queues of like 6 hours back when it first opened. When Flight of Passage, that's what the word I'm looking for. Because I remember them shutting the queue for Flight of Passage before park closed when they figured out how long how long the wait was at that point.
Yeah.
But the thing that not bugged us, but we had a theme park view. So Glenn wanted to keep going. I was too broken to continue on, but we could see from our room that the rides were running with people until 11 o'clock, just about. So they shut down that ride, but we could visibly see, it wasn't a guess or looking at a wait time on an app. We saw people going on rides.
Yeah, we could see Donkey Kong and Stardust Racers, people with their hands up. And I was like, oh my gosh, why are we not in there? So anyway, all that story just to say that then changed our second day chill, relax, sleep in to we've got to be the first people on Ministry of Magic to save my relationship and our trip. So we were, and that was wonderful. So 7:10, I took no chances. I was out there at 7:10, sitting with breakfast and a coffee, and Rebecca joined a little bit later, and all is good. You want to tell them?
Yeah, it worked out. We were the first people on the ride this second day, so
Nice.
it was great, but some stress in between.
It's actually we ended the night actually at a really nice bar to kind of drink and eat our troubles away, and we're feeling pretty good by the end of the evening. And I knew that there would be an opportunity for us to make things right, but that was a little gut punch after what had been otherwise an unbelievable day, a well executed day, and in total, it ended up being a super well executed trip. And I'm gonna throw out that there was even a silver lining to not getting on Ministry. It forced us out of the park. We went back to our room. She was very upset and didn't want to do anything else. So we just retreated back to the room. But as she said, we had a theme park view and we were on an upper level. I think it was 6th floor. It was high enough that we could see the entire park. Straight on, dead on view, right down the alley and see the entire theme park. And at 9 o'clock, so we walked into the hotel at 8:55. And we asked the security guard just to be sure. We're like, they haven't advertised it very much, but I think, is there a nighttime show? And he was like, oh yeah, 9:00 ish. They do a fountain show and it's a light show. And, he's really underplaying it, really underselling it. And we go up into our room and look out, and it's huge windows. The whole wall is a window. And my jaw dropped. I'm going to get ahead of myself. This is one of my super surprising moments. There were no fireworks involved. There were the next night, actually. I guess this was the night before 4th of July fireworks. But the light show was like nothing I've ever seen. The entire theme park inside of the main hub. So if you don't know, guys, there is their main street runs the entire length of the park, and it's called Celestial Park, and that's themed to steampunk, the cosmos,
Greek gods,
even Helios, the resort, is a part of that theme. And then there are the portals to the four lands. The four lands did not change, but everything else changed. And to say Main Street is really to undersell it. It's huge. It's as big as a theme park is that central location. And every single light that was possibly in that space was activated and was changing color. Sometimes the entire theme park would turn purple and then instantly change red and then instantly change white and back and forth. Sometimes it would be themed to some of the characters and lands. There was a moment I caught on video. The entire theme park, not a single light exempted, was activated. And there's this water show going on in a massive fountain. There are other activities that are going on, little water fountains throughout. It was amazing and something that I just had my face up against. I had my hands and my face up against the glass. I'm going, ooh, ah. And she's slowly coming out of her anger coma and oh, I guess this is pretty cool too. And so that was amazing. So we would not have gotten to see that at 9:00 if we had been stuck inside of Ministry of Magic, which we did get to do the next day. And this was July 2nd. Well, guess what? We had gone to bed about an hour or so later. And then through the little crease in the blinds, I can start to see more lights going off. Going out to find out that they did not one, but 2 run-throughs of their 4th of July version of that. So I've got video of that one too. And there were moments where if you are strobe light sensitive, you should not be in the theme park. I've never seen the lights firing in an environment that you're walking through that crazy. It really was like the entire theme park was on strobe and it was astronomical. It was red, white, and blue and just so cool. So we got 3 shows that night, 3 nighttime shows that night from our view. And for me, at least, the night was saved. I don't know about you. It took the next day to save me.
I just went to bed.
Did you sleep in the same room?
I did let him share the room with me.
So, Rebecca, you kind of hinted at this, but what attraction or experience in Epic Universe was your favorite and why?
So Ministry of Magic was my favorite. If you read anything, everyone says you can tell they threw all of their money at this ride. And as soon as you enter it, it is clear that is exactly what happened. When you walk in the atrium, for those of you that are into Harry Potter, you're walking into the Ministry of Magic. Like I was nearly crying, like walking through. And as we said, we rope dropped that day. We were on the first ride vehicle. There was one family in front of us. When they opened the park, the dad looked at me and said, "Are we going to run?" So I said, "We're going to run." Because also we're at one entrance, but there's people rope dropping from another entrance. Right. So you kind of don't know. The first day we weren't the first people at the portal, even though we rope dropped. But we were like, no, we're going to run. And then we let the family go in front of us because they were in front of us as we're waiting. And then the dad, again, turns to me and he's like, "Are we going to go slow or do you want to run to get on the ride?" And I was like, no, we're going to go slow. So everyone was walking slow, looking around. There's so many details. It's so huge and grand. And then the ride is really good, obviously. Also, I will say a lot of the rides at Universal make me nauseous. Very screen heavy, a lot of jerky movements. But I don't know if they've upgraded the technology or changed the way they're doing it. Like all of these were really smooth. So that was my favorite.
Were there any surprises for you? Anything that you weren't expecting that really impressed you?
Yeah, so there's two. I'll start with Hiccup's Wing Gliders because it's kind of talked about like a kiddie coaster. I mean, it's fine for kids, but it was not. It was really fun. And then the other one that surprised me was Stardust Racers, which is the big coaster in the middle of the park. I'd been on Velocicoaster before, and I love that. But this, I would say, is just as good. And if anything, Velocicoaster, for those that have ridden it, is really scary. And this was like just as intense, but in a really fun way.
Cool. Any differing opinions, Glenn? Did you have different favorites, or was
No, that's a perfect setup for me because Stardust Racers ended up being my favorite ride of the trip, and I didn't spoil on what it was or anything like that. I knew it was a dual coaster. I'd even heard that there are going to be points where you feel like you're so close you can high five the other coaster. What I was not prepared for, and I don't want to spoil anything, but what I was not prepared for is how hard it goes. It vastly, and I would say every ride that we went on, except Yoshi's, and we'll get to Yoshi, exceeded my expectations like tremendous. It went 150% to what I thought it might in my best scenario be. That one, I was giddy. I had a smile on my face and I was hoarse and sweating, not from the heat, but from like the exhaustion of screaming and just being at like max level, the entire time. And it's a double launch coaster. So just when you think you're done, it gets you going even more. And there are some incredible moments in it. I just, everyone needs to experience. Don't sleep on that ride because it's not themed to Harry Potter. It's not themed to, Mario or whatever. Like that one goes so hard. And we were talking to a lot of people. In fact, our original plan for day 2 before we had our Ministry of Magic debacle was to do Stardust Racers as our first ride. And we ended up not getting on it a second time. That's fine. But it's a ride that I'm going to be dreaming about. There are 2 different tracks. There's a yellow and a green, or, a gold and a kind of a dingy mustard and whatever. There's 2 different colors. And they are different ride experiences. They do not just exactly mimic one another. They depart at the same time. You see one another, and then you separate, and you kind of come back in. And it was just unbelievable. So Stardust Racers for me was number 1. But I agree, cool. Everything went harder than I thought it would have. Ministry of Magic was amazing. I'm a huge Harry Potter fan as well, and I was thrilled and exhilarated by that experience. And then the unexpected, because I really could care less about old monsters and stuff like that. But the Monsters ride was very similar to the Harry Potter experience. It had fewer screens and more animatronics, and it was unexpected. And the entire time we were there over both days, I don't think the queue got longer than about 15 or 20 minutes. This is an e-ticket attraction to the highest level. It has moments. At the beginning,
Monsters Unchained.
Unchained. Yeah, Monsters Unchained. And there's moments at the beginning where you get animatronics that are absolutely Rise of the Resistance, or what's the other one is Smuggler's Run, Hondo, Onaka, kind of that pre-show. They're definitely at that level of articulation. The shaman in Navi River Journey, that level of smoothness and impressive, just the size, the scale, the quantity of them. That one was unexpected. I could go on that ride a ton. We did it 3 times.
That was the only 3 times.
Wow.
It's the only ride we did so many times. Werewolf was fun. Werewolf was unexpectedly fun. Nothing outstanding in terms of what.
I think it was so fun.
I was going to say nothing in terms of outstanding in terms of theming or what you would look at, but the ride was exhilarating.
So, any disappointments for either of you or both of you, or?
I'm just going to say Yoshi. I think every ride was a 10 out of 10, except for this one ride, which is very clearly their attempt at making a ride that a small child can go on in the park.
Like a 2-year-old child, before language, before the ability to start.
Is that really all there is for small kids?
Honestly, yeah.
So you'd recommend waiting till your kids are maybe 10? Is that what you're thinking? Or?
I mean, look at the height requirements and then judge your kid based on thrill level. There's 2 rides we didn't do in Isle of Berk, but one of them, again, is more of a thrill ride, and one is a water ride that little kids could also probably do. But I would say it is for older or tall, brave, small kids.
Park only has 11 rides, and they all are pretty extreme, throwing you around.
Okay.
I don't think I'm ruining anything because this comes early enough in the queue, but there is a really cute moment in the Monsters Unchained where there's a little example of the ride vehicle you're going to go on, and it whips around like it's like it's whipping around a rag doll, and you're like, oh my God, that's going to be me. That's kind of the experience. I would not take a young child to this theme park. You would be really wasting your time. Even the games and experiences get very crowded, and we found that kind of quickly that the games, the Harry Potter wand, as well as the Mario punching things, can get very crowded, and there's lines for those. So I would not recommend it again. Yeah, for
that's the Austins had said that when they went to California to Universal to Mario, that the games I think they used their early entry to play the games.
Which is not a bad strategy because they're really fun.
Yeah, and the early hour, it was a ghost town. We did a couple of those experiences the first day, and you felt like the whole park was yours for that first hour. As soon as the floodgates open, then you've got line 10, 20, 30 deep for every single one of those experiences. While we're talking about that, though, I do have to mention that do not miss the opportunity. Don't be shy. Walk into like every little opening in the Mario land, in the front half of the Mario land. Every little opening could take you into a magical game, and you won't know if you don't go in there because there's not clear signage. It's not a lot of people going in there. But one of my favorite experiences was on day 2 when we took our time and we just explored, and it took us into some of these places. Cast members, or whatever they call it, team members, will help you if you need assistance in understanding what's happening. Once you're inside, it is the closest to actually living a video game, I think, to anything that you're going to experience. It all crescendos. You build in levels, and then it crescendos into kind of like a boss level game. And the boss level game was very interactive. Yeah, almost like AR, like augmented reality, but instead of having glasses on, you're just interacting with things that are seeing your. I don't want to ruin it. It was so charming. It was one of the most charming moments of the trip. But I would say we almost skipped Mario Kart. Rebecca, do you want to speak to Mario Kart real quick? Which obviously was much harder than we thought it would be. Went 150%.
That ride, I think anyone is going to have to ride it a bunch of times before they're even like mediocre, because it really pairs like real life sets with VR goggles, which I wasn't expecting. And then mine, at least, I didn't want them tight on my head. So then it was like not sitting right on my head, but it's really disorienting, which doesn't sound fun, but it is fun. But just if you're very competitive, I think the first time you ride through that, you'll be pretty frustrated. And then you'll understand what you're looking at and what you're doing. And then I think if we would have been able to ride it again, we probably would have had more fun with it.
If you know me or you can hear me on this podcast, I am definitely ADHD. And this was overwhelming for me. It was moving too fast. There were too many screens. There were too many things going on. We needed multiple times. We only did it the one time just because, our day didn't quite work out that way. We caught some rain the second day. We left a little early. Things happen. But that is absolutely a ride that if you're into Mario Kart, the game, or just Mario in general, or you just want to have some fun. Closest I would say is Web Slingers out in Disneyland if you've done that. But it is just one level or two levels up from that. Wild stuff. Absolutely wild stuff. Yeah, everything was better than we expected, Tony Ann. Everything was better.
Every single thing.
If anybody's new to the show, Glenn and Rebecca are food connoisseurs, well-versed in fine dining, and have been on the show with us many times, sharing some of their experiences in the parks. Did anything exceed your expectations? Did anything kind of fall short?
Yeah, so we're both going to say the same exact thing. The bucatini with shrimp at Atlantic was definitely the best thing we ate. Glenn is better at describing food than I am, so he can tell you what it is, but did not walk into that restaurant thinking we were going to get a pasta dish. It's a seafood restaurant, but we asked our server Kay, like, what's your favorite thing? And she said, this is what you have to get. No one is upset after they get this dish walking out of here. So we did.
I had heard good things about the sea bass, and we did get the sea bass as well. At $47, it was probably more than I would pay to get it again. It was not bad. It was amazing, delicious. I'd pay about 26 for it if I was guessing. This bucatini with shrimp, I'll read it real quick. It's called bucatini alla Adriata. So like the Adriatic Sea. Bucatini pasta, sauteed shrimp, creamy tomato sauce, arugula, bacon, herb, breadcrumbs. I don't know. I don't have the price in front of me here. I would pay $1,000 for this. It was so good. We were dreaming about it before we finished it. We were plotting to come back.
Planning to have it again.
Yeah, we were plotting to come back. This was day one. We were plotting to come back there again on day two and eat it again. It was that good. But no, we had strategies. We ate at an astronomical amount of places. I was looking at it, Rebecca, as we were planning for tonight. Aside from Mario Land, where we ate nothing, we ate at almost every other restaurant or kiosk or bar that was inside of the theme park or Helios. We ate at every single, or ate or drank at every single option that the Helios Resort had, which was 4 options there. We ate at both of the places in the Monsters Land. So the Burning Blade, of course, the Burning Blade Tavern, which is incredibly dark. This is the one you've seen that has the windmill that starts on fire. Super charming. And do you remember what we had there?
I don't remember what the official names are, but basically we had, I think it's called the garlic steak, but a big garlic knot, which is good, but a garlic knot. And then these cheese balls, which again, I don't remember what they are, but those were really good. Like I could eat.
Were those the black
100
ones?
of them. Yes.
Yeah, they're called the Burning Cheddar Bites. It's listed as crispy fried jalapeno pimento cheddar bites with a sriracha ranch. You couldn't see them in the dark restaurant. They were black. They were terrible to photograph. But as soon as you bite into them, they're orange and pimento cheese. That was so good. The sauce was so good. The garlic was just drenched in garlic. Your partner must eat this with you. You cannot one of you eat this and the other not. Can I say we were smelling it like hours later?
Yeah. It's like, oh, you smell like that.
Someone would burp and it would be like, there it is again. There it is. But it was so good. It was super, super cute. And of course, at that bar, they call it a secret menu, but I looked and it's on the menu. So I don't know what's so secret about it. But they have these test tubes that you can get filled with Jekyll and Hyde. So there are some clues around the land that you can listen in on windows, and the windows will tell you to go to that restaurant and order the Jekyll and Hyde. And one's clear and one is red, and one's kind of like,
Just
Jekyll.
don't order it.
At one side, and then they offer the antidote. So the green is called the monocaine mocktail. That is not alcoholic. So that one, it comes in a really cute beaker, and you get that one to kind of even out these other two. These other two are shots, and they are not good shots, but it might be
so
worth
bad. So bad.
It might be worth the thrill of doing it. So.
And how much do these bad shots cost?
I don't know. Glenn paid for that one.
Yeah, nothing's cheap, guys. Nothing's cheap.
No.
They were really bad, though. So, like, really, if you're in for the experience and have cash to throw in the garbage, go for it. But
So that's what you're doing anyway, right? Just throw cash out.
I would say to have these memories, priceless is the answer.
Oh,
Okay, whatever.
Literally couldn't drink one of them.
oh my
That was
gosh.
really good. Do we want to say our big disappointment was also in that land, the other restaurant,
Yeah.
Das Steakhouse?
Yeah, so Das Steakhouse, I would say ambiance top notch. Really cool restaurant, theming on par with any other themed place. Also, we didn't mention this, and I forgot when you and I were talking, Glenn, but Universal does something that's in between quick service and table service that we really like. That you go in this restaurant, they seat you at a table, which is nice because they're keep watching the flow and helping people sit. And then you order there's a QR code on the table. You order your food, you put your table number in, and then they bring it to you. So especially
That's
if you
smart.
have a big group or kids or something, like no one has to go get the food. They're basically going to seat you at less busy restaurants, because we did one of these restaurants in the Harry Potter portal. That one, they didn't seat you because it was much more open. But either way, very nice that you can sit down, you're hot, you just want to be like inside somewhere, and then they're going to bring you your food, but it's quick service food at a quick service price. But it's just kind of nice to be somewhere in
sounds a lot better
between.
than carrying a tray and standing in line.
Right.
Yeah, you stole my number 5. That was going to be my thing that this place does better than Disney is
Sorry.
that it's okay that Disney has table service and quick service, but this is that hybrid. It's more like a Be Our Guest type situation where you order and the food comes to you. But yeah, the great advantage, and it didn't really seem to be a problem even with the crowds. Like we didn't have trouble finding seating. I think they've just built this theme park with capacity in mind. But it's really nice to be able to be seated by a host and sit down, and then at your pleasure, not the waiters or waitress's pleasure, you order, and then the food comes immediately. If you want to sit and chat for 30 minutes, nobody's going to bug you. You could do that. If you want to order immediately because you're starving, order immediately. And the food was out very quickly, I found. 10 minutes at the most, 5-10 minutes at the most. So it had a quick service speed if you wanted it. It had a table service feel if you wanted it. It was a really nice hybrid. And that was at a lot of the restaurants. We enjoyed that.
You were talking about Das Steakhouse, though. You were talking about the disappointment.
But the food was bad. So end of story is at that specific one, food was really bad. Glenn, again, I stayed really spoiler free and like to pat myself on the back because I really went in with just about nothing. But Glenn had seen the chicken wings there and a chicken sandwich were the 2 things that you were supposed to get. Those are not the right names for them. We got both. The wings, edible. The wings were large. There's just 2 of them. So I don't know for the price if that's okay, because I don't even know how much anything was. But the sandwich was like almost inedible. Like I ate it because it was there, but it was pretty bad.
Yeah, we split everything. I didn't finish my wing, and I took 1 bite of that chicken, and I don't care how much it costs. I was not filling up valuable stomach space with that. It had a black bun. The wings were drizzled with black sauce of some sort, and the theming was wonderful, but the delivery, the follow through was not good. Again, I'll always say this was our experience. Maybe we went at the wrong time of day. They'd been sitting under a heat lamp. Maybe we caught a bad this or a bad that. Don't ever let these, reviews that you hear, positive or negative, because these were the 2 things I heard were great.
Except for the shots.
Don't get the shots. Don't get the shots.
We ate at every single restaurant or bar in the Harry Potter land. And we have wonderful stories to tell, I think. So although it came with a dose of sadness, the butterbeer crepe that we ate the night that we missed out on Ministry of Magic was delicious. If you like butterbeer, you like that butterscotchy, caramelly, sweet flavor that you know from all the different butterbeer versions. This is it in crepe form. I would absolutely be sure to make sure you eat the strawberries that come with it, because they are a wonderful, slightly bitter, relatively balancing agent to the crepes. The crepes are so sweet, but we cleared our plate on that one. Even Rebecca ate that one. We went over to, should we say, the Goblet Noir next, which is their version of kind of like Nocturne Alley. Goblet Noir, the Black Goblet. This is where the bad guys go, I guess. This is the bad guy restaurant.
Wizards.
Yeah, the bad wizards. And we got there. The only thing I'd heard about there that I really wanted to try, we're big charcuterie fans, and this was a weird and wonderful version of their charcuterie option. They called it the Alchemist's Platter, and it had so many things that I love. I've grown up eating Polish food. This is totally normal Polish food, nothing weird about it, but just the fact that it's presented in this location, really, really charming. Smoked sausage, potato and cheese pierogi, marinated beets, yummy, I love it. A pickled egg, so it's going to be that kind of purple pickled egg, caramelized onions, warm pretzel, and it was a pretty decent size, maybe like as big as a pickle. You might get
Say 6 inches, maybe,
yeah.
maybe a little less, but.
And then German mustard and cheese fondue. So all of these items are definitely meant to be mixed and matched. You should not just eat them. We were talking about
eat onions straight, like somebody had mentioned.
I mean, I ate some onions straight. I'm
happy to eat onions straight too. Yeah. But the onions are obviously meant to be eaten on the pierogi with the sausage. I mean, you do what you want with it. But it was a very refreshing, unique, amazing take on a charcuterie. It clearly was riffing on that charcuterie is popular in Orlando. They know they're not heading this in, but a totally refreshing way to try it out. And it delivered. We loved everything on that plate. I know Rebecca doesn't like pickled eggs, but I love the pickled eggs, and everything else was wonderful.
I ate everything else. And then I wouldn't sleep on, again, it was the night I was very sad. So I feel like it might be better even than I think it was. But Bar Helios, which is at the top of the resort, you can make a reservation. I suggest you make a reservation. But the drinks were really good and inventive. And then we also got fried halloumi bites and octopus. And they were both also delicious. My drink that I got was a feta cheese cocktail.
Interesting.
Which sounds very strange. It was delicious. It was gin, feta honey, lemon, Saint Germain, and egg whites. And it came with literally on a skewer where they would put usually an olive or something, a cube of feta cheese.
Oh, nice.
And I got a really interesting drink there as well. Not as interesting as your feta cheese, but they called it the Athenian Milk Punch. It was an Angel's Envy Helios barrel selection. So obviously that means Angel's Envy, which is a brand I love anyway, specially made for Helios. Metaxa Ouzo. Then it had mint tea, lemon juice, cane syrup for sweetness, and Greek yogurt syrup. It was not creamy or milky. It was very fresh, very light, incredibly complex and interesting.
Do they make a syrup from the whey from the yogurt? Is that?
I think it would have to be, Tonya, because it wasn't thick and white. The drink wasn't, and I'm sure even any of that would have really changed the complexion of the drink. But yeah, it must have been just from the whey at the top. Beautiful. So we got that as the drinks, and then the charred octopus. And I'm a huge octopus connoisseur. I loved the octopus.
Yes, you're still lamenting the Nomad Lounge.
I'm still mad at the Nomad Lounge for changing theirs to the chimichurri version. When honestly, that squid ink aioli and the romesco were the two best things.
Why'd you have to say
I'm going to say that every time I talk about it.
I'm sorry I brought it up.
So they bring it back. But this one was the second best after that one that I've ever had. It really was. It was great. We each got a couple of the more charred pieces when it gets a little thinner, and then the thicker piece at the root of it. And it also had a romesco, which I'm very happy about. So that was it's my favorite sauce. I think it's so good. I got to learn how to make romesco sauce. So that was amazing. And then the halloumi. If anyone's ever had halloumi, every time I've ever seen it, it comes in a brick. It's a block. That's how you buy it at the store. This was in like balls of halloumi. I didn't even know. I don't know if they're making their own halloumi or they're finding a purveyor that offers it in ball form. And then it had been deep fried, obviously, and spiced and served with honey, which is a nice kind of counter to the incredibly salty flavor of the halloumi cheese. But if you like cheese, if you like salt, if you like a little bit of sweetness in there, that's a really wonderful thing to take a chance on if you've not had halloumi as part of your experience. How can you lose with cheese? Unless it's the Indian cheese at the
Paneer.
The paneer at the festival, at the Epcot festival. Don't do that. It's squeaky cheese. But every other cheese I've ever had has been good. So
if you get the refillable mug, which we did, which we don't usually do at Disney, there are 3 unique sodas within Epic in the freestyle machine. So one in Celestial Park, one in Dark Universe, and one in Isle of Berk that you could use your like refillable Epic cup and try all of them, along with getting other sodas and water all day.
And I would only add to that because I was the primary drinker of these things. They're interesting and unique. I don't know that they're great. It's more about the experience of getting a unique Coke product that you've never had before. A lot of Mountain Dew and High C type flavors, but really charming to be able to get them in the lands and say to yourself, I'm in that world and I'm experiencing this more unique flavor. And it was like, just, can we call it like a little quest that we were able to go on? It was cute.
It was just like a nice thing to add that they were all different and kind of themed.
And we were obviously there for 2 days. You can buy the souvenir cup on the first day for whatever it is, $20 or something like that. And then if you bring it back on the second or third or any successive day, it's a renewal charge. It's like $12. So it comes down in value and you're just paying for the unlimited drinks.
See, that's something I always said I wish Disney would do, because I don't want to have 100 mugs in my cabinet. If they would let you just bring back your mug and pay maybe a couple dollars less. Is there anything Disney could learn from Universal? Is there anything that Universal's doing that Disney's not?
Well, we already mentioned, that they're using the face
service
to scan you in. That went very fast. That took.
But the face, I have to say, we didn't mention before, it's also for the Express Pass. So at Disney, where you always have to have your phone to scan your ticket or your Magic Band, like we would walk to a ride, you pause for a second, and then they tell you to go. You don't have to keep taking that ticket out or taking your phone out or anything like that.
That was one for sure. We did already mention the Light and Fountain show. And I don't know what it feels like in the park because we were not in the park to experience it. I can only imagine that it feels enveloping when you're in the park. But the view from Helios, there are other places you can go. You can go up to Helios Bar. You can stand outside at Helios and still probably see that elevated views to be able to see it. But it was just super, super impressive to see that. I would say a really exciting thing was that there was a lot of live music inside of the theme park. It had a Disney Springs kind of feel in terms of live music. There were plazas dotted throughout Celestial Park where there were musicians playing everything from that weird electric fiddle that's not really there. It's like the band of the fiddle. Dave, you can tell me. I don't know how that thing works, but I don't know how to describe it. The one we saw in the Harry Potter land, Rebecca, where it was old-timey performers. And then they had this like incredibly strange but charmingly beautiful little puffball animatronic that they were hugging, and it had gigantic doughy eyes and was you could spend the entire performance just staring at this little cutie pie puffball puffball eyeball animatronic that was there. He was in with the music. He was like dancing to the I think he was dancing to the music. I don't know. But it was super, super cute there. And then we happened into the Plastered Owl, which is one of their bars. And there was live music happening there. It was not quite at the level, but a la Yeehaw Bob. They were going around and getting audience participation, asking people like Mad Libs to come up with words, and then they would make songs out of them and performing those. So you're involved in the performance. It was super, super cute. The live music, the interactions, the streetmosphere, if we can call it that, characters and the music that was happening there. The place felt alive. You want to add the walk around characters too, which I know you have a hilarious story that you want to tell, and we cannot end the podcast without you telling.
It's my favorite thing that happened, I think. And then I'll go into what I think that they do better. But so we met the Invisible Man. Oh, and I got
text about this. I know the story.
Yeah, because I had to tell you immediately. I couldn't keep it to myself. But so I'm really into horror. I wanted to take a picture with the Invisible Man. So I take a picture with the Invisible Man. Glenn comes over. We take a picture together. And Glenn looks at him and he was like, wow, are you an animatronic? And the Invisible Man looks at him and goes, are you an idiot?
He's surly, and that place is known for being very adult. And I'd heard he was so surly. So I just wanted to get him going. And that was better than expected. You were just eating that out. You almost died on the floor laughing. It was so cute. Yeah, so the walk around characters are super cute and super charming. All the Mario characters, the Harry Potter characters, they're, not the Harry Potter like actual characters, but there's like, people in 1920s France walking around. It was just unbelievably immersive. Oh, how could we forget the in the Isle of Burke, Rough Nut and Tough Nut, who are the twins who are a little goofy. Oh my God, they were so funny and so charming. And there again, I was wearing a Gryffindor shirt and they called me a Griffin dork. So like, again, Rebecca's just so happy. It was super.
Everyone's just picking on Glenn. It was great.
Do I have a sign on me? I don't know.
You kind of do.
I do. I make that energy.
It was a shirt.
And of course we mentioned, can we just say this? Talk to people. Talk to the cast members, talk to the team members, whatever they call them. You're going to get little tips. You're going to get little twists. We were waiting in line to meet Toothless, to meet the big Toothless, the big animatronic that everyone knows. And we just start talking as we do to the cast members who are holding us there. And we mentioned, hey, do you know anything about the little baby Night Furies? Where do they show up? And the guy who was holding us, he says, I actually happen to know where they might be. And if you might be there around 11 a.m., and don't hold me to this number, guys, but he said, if you happen to be there around 11 a.m., there you might see something that you'd be interested in. So we were there at like 10:30, camped out, drinking drinks, not wanting to miss anything.
I was on day 2 after Ministry of Magic. So I was sitting in that spot until 11.
And looking through the fence. And then a lady came out with a big backpack. And we knew what that must mean, is that there was a tiny little, completely autonomous walking dragon. I mean, a tiny little Toothless comes hopping out and it's boop, 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 boop. It could not be cuter. Of course, kids, cover your ears. Parents, cover your children's ears. It's one of those Boston Dynamic dogs that you've seen. It's like, like robot dogs wrapped up in a beautiful
Rich thinks you're going to take over the world and kill us all.
Exactly. But man,
now they'll be cute like Toothless, so it won't matter.
So you'll let it jump on you.
Absolutely. And there was a whole performance that went with it. There was a man who came out and he'd misplaced the baby dragons, and then the baby dragon came and they had a cute interaction. It even involved children, and it was wonderful. And Rebecca tried to be involved, but as young as she looked, she couldn't pass for.
And a small kid got picked instead.
Oh,
of course, every time.
No, I was there first.
See, it sounds like Epic Universe is doing some of the things that we were promised at Galaxy's Edge, that we were promised these characters that were going to interact with us. And I remember before Galaxy's Edge opened, they talked about when you rode Smuggler's Run, an hour later, a cast member was going to say, "Oh, you did terribly." I remember all those promises that
I do too.
were unmet.
So my answer to this question, like, what does Universal do better? And I've thought this for a long time. I think they do land building better than Disney, especially, most importantly, if you're not a huge super fan of that franchise. So Galaxy's Edge, I think people that love Star Wars know all these weird one-off characters that are there. They understand the land. But as someone, like, I'm not a huge Star Wars fan, I think there's a lot of blank space. I think there's not a lot to interact with. There's really small parts of the land to interact with. But I think Universal, like you just said, Tony Ann, does such a better job. You're like immersed the second you walk in. And I don't think it matters. Like, if you love Toothless or don't love Toothless, there's dragons. They are as lifelike as anything could be. Like he said, that dragon is walking around on its own. There's no handler next to it. There's no anything. Like, there is a dragon. So to me, that's that's
another thing. I remember in 2005 for the year, the 50th anniversary of Disneyland, and they came out with Lucky the Dinosaur. He roamed around Dino Land for like 3 months, and then we never saw him again. So they've had this technology, this ability for years. And I think they sent him to Hong Kong, and then we never saw him again. And I don't know why Disney does that. We talked about that a couple months ago when they said they were going to have flying dragons at Universal. We had a Maleficent who flew once and never came back when they opened up New Fantasyland. So I don't know why Disney does that. It makes me crazy.
I think Universal to me just seems more willing to take the risk. So like the rides, I know they're more adult. I understand why Disney may not want to go down that path, but like Universal is just from the outside, like they're just willing to put it out there. And this theme park has a lot of issues. It's in its first month of opening. There's a lot of things that break down, a lot of closures, and they're going to work through it, obviously. But like, it just seems like they're willing to try and to put it out there, even if maybe one day there are no baby dragons walking around. But you know that you could see a baby dragon walking around.
Yeah, this is a super deep cut that I shared with Rob Madiri. He hung out with us for a whole 24 hours, like another day after this. So I don't know how the Venn diagrams of pro wrestling and Disney are going to overlap here. But if anyone is of an age that they remember when the World Wrestling Federation and WCW were at their like most competitive, and Stone Cold Steve Austin was on one side and Hulk Hogan, and you know, they were going back and forth. The two companies kept trying to one up one another, and they kept coming up with bigger stars and more outlandish plots and bigger events and this crazy turn, and one would steal from the other and back and forth. It was the best time to be a pro wrestling fan because every day that there was a wrestling show, they were upping the ante on one another. I am so excited if this theme park and everything that we're talking about here and everything that we experience, you know, guys, we are diehard Disney fans. I've had an annual pass for years. We got 900 DVC points between the two of us, Rebecca and I. We go, 6 to 10 times a year. We love Disney, and that's woven into our hearts. I'm going to say something incredibly controversial here. I said it to her, and I said it to Rob, and I'm going to say it to you. I think this is the best theme park, end to end, top to bottom, that I've ever been to. And I've not been to the Tokyo parks, which I heard are great too. But of the parks that I've been to in Europe and the States, all of them, this is the best theme park. Every ride, every character, food, drink, ambiance, resort, everything. This delivered the goods. And if this starts that WCW versus WWE gamesmanship, and Disney has to level up with Villains Land and the Cars experience, and Universal answers with 2 more expansion pads in this land, and Disney comes back, and so on and so on. If there is a 5th gate coming at Disney, like, this is the best time. These next 10, 20 years, this might be the best time to be a fan of the theme park industry.
Yeah, competition is good.
Can we talk about a couple of the things that I'm hearing are not so great? How was the heat? Because I heard there's not a lot of shade.
As someone, I struggle in the heat. One day was much hotter than the other day. So I thought there were places to get out of the heat if you're willing to like just go inside somewhere. Okay. Is there a lot of like coverage to sit outside and like, sit under a gazebo or something? No. But between all of the portals and Celestial Park, I don't think there was any time where I felt hot and couldn't like immediately find somewhere to go.
That's good because, like you said that like with the quick services, they don't rush you out and things like that. Because I know I've struggled to find a place in like Hollywood Studios. I don't think there's a lot of places to duck inside if you're not in a queue for something. So. That's good. Yeah. And I've heard about stairs. Now, you're both fit people, but I've heard that there's a lot of stairs.
We commented on this probably a dozen times over the 2 days that we were there. An astronomical amount of stairs. And I'm sure there are elevators everywhere that will help you out, but that's going to slow you down. You're going to have to go find it. It's not right in front of you, so that's around the corner. If you're not fit for both up and down and sometimes a ton, there was one moment in the Mario Kart experience. It was like a 6-story staircase going down. Like that was just part of the queue. You had to go down. It was impressive, actually. It's actually part of the theming, the Bowser Castle kind of experience to see these big stairwells, but like great theming, tough on the knees. People would sit, it moves slow enough. It's pretty intense. There are some escalators in some places. There are some bailout opportunities that are charming and beautiful. And we can get into a couple of tips. We could do rapid fire, like maybe 6 or 7 tips that we've got that we haven't mentioned yet that I think would be a benefit to, especially our kind of aficionados and people who love to know the tips and tricks.
Just one thing before you move off of the stairs. obviously, if you cannot do stairs, there are ways around them. But I will say the stairs, I don't know if they're necessary, but they're like built into the queues and themed. So if you're skipping the stairs, there are in some instances, like I'm thinking about that staircase in Monsters Unchained, where you're walking up, you're going to miss some things if you don't do the stairs.
Okay.
So is it going to ruin a ride for you? No.
Right.
Is there a way around it? Sure. But they've really built it in that, you know, we kind of wanted to do the stairs sometimes, because at one point I was like, oh, let's take this elevator. And he was like, no, let's go, like, let's go over here down these stairs.
Hazard of traveling with the Energizer Bunny. I would maybe liken it to like Peter Pan. I haven't been in the Peter Pan queue in years because we always fast pass it. But that's one of the most charming parts of the ride is the interactive inside of the house.
Bedroom.
Will you miss that kind of stuff if you take the elevators, escalator, whatever the options are? Yeah. Does that ruin the Peter Pan ride for you? No, of course not. It doesn't ruin the ride. It's just one extra thing that you could get if you're capable, if you, and I don't think anyone's going to rush you, because if you're going over these stairs, guys, it's because there's a long line. There's like a wait and people will take time, and the stairs are wide enough when they're out.
Yeah, they're
open.
nice stairs.
Well, if you're in a line queue and there's stairs, there's no rush because there's 1,000 people in front of you. If you're out in the land and there's stairs, there's no rush because they've got 8 lanes of people that could do it. So they've thought about this, I think, even though they're like definitely encouraging people to traverse a ton of stairs. They're mindful, boy, we're going to have some people who are going to need to move a little slower, you know, older folks or folks who have mobility issues, and they're going to want to do this. But I don't think it's a deal breaker one way or the other, honestly. Okay. But yeah, you should be aware that there are a ton of stairs. And if you are someone who cannot do stairs, you're probably going to want to do a little extra research. You're going to need to spoil a little bit, find out where those elevators are. I didn't see them on any maps. I think this is something you're just going to have to go
I think you have to ask.
Or just take your time. Just, you know, plan some express pass, plan multiple days, and, and give yourself that grace to do it. All right, you want some tips, Tony Ann?
So the first one I'll say, and Glenn is good at this, I'm not quite as good at it, and he mentioned it a little bit earlier, but I'll give some more context, is talk to the team members, especially if anyone's going right now, they're still figuring it out. So like the rides that are available for early entry are not all posted. So that day when we had to do Ministry of Magic rope dropping, it was not posted as early entry. But we had asked someone the day before and they said, you know, we're trying to get it open at 9 for you all. No promises. It's not on the app. You can waste an hour if you want to come over here, and we may not be open, but we may. And they were.
We can actually go even further with that, Rebecca. When we were standing at the holding area at the mouth of Helios to go into the park with the portal to Harry Potter, not 20 feet from our eyes, the lady who was holding us there, someone asked, what time does Ministry of Magic open? She said 10 to them. That's the official posted time. The only reason we knew that it might, and this was a might, we were happy to bet an hour on a might, open at 9 is because we had been there the night before. The fella had apologized to us for closing it 20 minutes early and had said, we're really trying to get it open at 9 because we stayed and we talked to him. If we'd have just walked, I guess it's closed and left, we would have heard everyone say 10. Talk to people.
Yeah. Also in the morning, like for rope dropping at Helios, people were talking to the person holding us, and she actually said, so that morning, it was the second day, we got released at 9:50. And she said, we're testing every day how to release the 2 lines so that everyone kind of has a fair chance of getting around the park. So the first day when we rope dropped, we were going all the way to Nintendo World, which is much closer to the main entrance to the park. So by the time we got there, there's hundreds of people already. But then the second day when we were rope dropping, she said, we're releasing you all 10 minutes earlier than the other entrance today. And that day we happened to be going to Harry Potter, which, as Glenn said, you could see, feet from you. We still ran, but talking to them gave us a little more insight to how they're changing things and how they're updating. And it could give you some pointers as you're entering the park, possibly.
All right, I can give you a couple more tips that we picked up along the way of our planning, but just to kind of put them all in one location for you guys. These are some of our best tips for time saving and experiencing. And so you geeks and nerds and crushers and whatever you are going to love this. All right. So going into the Nintendo Land, we were advised, and this paid off very satisfactorily for us because we were like 1,000 people late because of our release time. Avoid the escalator. So don't go through the pipe. Don't go through the portal.
You're going to really want to do it, though, but don't.
You're going to want to do the escalator. Do it later. Do it an hour later when you're done with everything in the land. It's great. It's better with not 1,000 of your closest friends. So avoid the escalator at let's call it rope drop. At the Mario Land by accessing the stairs to the right once you're in the kind of escalator portal. So be careful. Don't go too wide too early. We almost did that. And that's the exit. So don't do that because they won't let you in there at rope drop. But go into the escalator area, be on the right side, and then look for a little bailout on the right side. And that's going to take you.
It's also where the elevators are, by the way.
That's true as well. This is where the elevators are, but there's stairs there too if you're capable of the stairs. And it probably jumped us 500 people right there just to do that because we were flying. We were walking at our brisk pace. We weren't running, walking at a brisk pace. Nobody in front of us over there. But then we got lost. Then we got into it. This is a very confusing land because when you look at it on the map, you're looking straight down. You can't tell elevation. So we just kept going straight with a lot of the crowd, and the crowd, we don't know if the crowd was confused. They were going to Mario Kart. We did not want to go to Mario Kart, which is on the Express Pass. We wanted to go to the Donkey Kong coaster, which is not on that pass. And that's the one that does typically break down. We did have a breakdown that morning. But that one you want to go to first. To do that, you have to stay in the middle of where the stairs have taken you up. The stairs and escalator have taken you up. So now you're on the second level of the land. Aim for the middle for more stairs that go down. So now you're going down in the center of the land. All right. So now you're back down to level 1 and then stay to the right. And you'll see that there's a pass through around all the Mario stuff, and you leave Mario because Donkey Kong is a totally different Nintendo franchise than Mario. So you need a little break, a little weenie, kind of opening up to get through there. And then you pass through to the right and you're on Donkey Kong. Again, we missed that. We went maybe 100 feet deep before we were like, wait a second, this is a dead end. This is just taking us to Yoshi and Mario Kart before we figured it out. And we were still first 100 people.
Yeah.
First 100 people. Not bad for being released 10 minutes later, but knowing those two, knowing that first trick saved us 500 people. Now you guys know the second trick. Try to go down the center staircase. It's just gray, silver staircase, right in the center, and then stay to the right. That'll get you where you want to go for that. Which at this point,
good signage? I mean, it just sounds confusing.
Nope.
No, not for this. For other things, there is good sign. I wouldn't say the whole park has bad signage, but like we were just looking everywhere, and all you see is Nintendo stuff, and we're like, where is Donkey Kong? Like you can't even see that there's another land behind the land.
Yeah, that's weird.
Let's go over to the Isle of Berk for the next 2 tips. So one tip is you've probably heard a lot about these cones that are full of mac and cheese and then a bunch of meats and all kinds of stuff. And by the way, we got the chicken one, which was, I thought, really good. I would maybe give it like an 8 out of 10. It was not a home run, but the everything bagel seasoning was wonderful. The other one that's being talked about is the PB&J. We did not get that one, and it's not peanut butter and jelly. It's pork, bacon, and jam. So that really sounds good. I think we're getting that next time, Rebecca. But that is sold. They advertise, everyone who's talking about that says it's sold at one place, but it's actually sold at 2 places. So you can go right or go left. And either of the first 2 places that you're going to find, Hooligans, Grog, and Gruel is the one. And then the other one's name is the Spitfire, FYRE. We got from the Spitfire Grill. There was a very short line there, but just pick whichever line is shorter and it's got the exact same stuff. Spitfire Grill has more stuff. The Hula Yeah, Hooligans Grog and Gruel only has the cones, but that gives you two options there. And then the other tip in that aisle of Burke is for the show. The Untrainable Dragon show is so charming. It is a wonderful, would you say Broadway level, you New Yorker?
I mean, theme park Broadway. It's short, it's cute, but it's very well done.
Yeah, it's a 15-minute show. It's not a long show. And by the way, the other show, I'm not going to give a tip on it, but the Harry Potter show is unbelievable. I thought that was wonderful. I thought that was incredibly wonderful. There's a pre-show.
And Express Pass works on both shows, which when I checked last, it was not listed.
That's not our tip. Our tip that we received, who did we receive this from? I can't remember who told us this. Someone told us this.
I think it was the guy that you were talking to when we got the cone.
Yes. The guy who was giving us, So someone in the land told us where to sit. And I would recommend this for anyone. Find the sound booth that's going to be in the dead center of the stage. And there's a big brick wall or, a wall in front of his sound booth. So he's up on high. Sit right in front of that sound booth. This is the best location to sit because there are things that happen in the show that move in and out of the audience, up, around, over in the, around the audience that you're going to want to be in that position. That was just the ideal position. And he recommended it. We did it. And we are happier for having sat there. So it's kind of a little far back. It's not quite all the way up front. But sit back where the sound booth is. And I think you'll be really charmed with that spot. Rebecca, I'm going to give you the last one, which has to do with a breakfast treat, a breakfast add-on. You want to share that with them?
So obviously we've all heard about how upset I was the first night. So Glenn went down to set up for rope drop very early and let me slowly get ready. Because also we had to check our bags that day. We were checking out. So, I took my time. So he had eaten breakfast, had his drink or whatever, got himself a soda, was waiting in line. So I go downstairs, go to get my breakfast sandwich. It's kind of a grab and go place. And they also have Starbucks coffee. So some options, not like a regular Starbucks. But I'm ordering my sandwich and my coffee. And there's this bucket of nips. So I said, do you sell these at 7 a.m.? And they said, yeah, I think so. So the girl calls her manager over and is like, can I sell her this alcohol? And she was like, yeah. So I bought myself a coffee. I bought myself a Bailey's and I made myself a spiked coffee to wait for rope drop.
Because all fun days have to start with a spiked coffee, I think.
I love that.
Drink all day if you don't start in the morning.
That's perfect.
Yeah. And then for anyone, I would say this park, I love Harry Potter, but I don't love Universal in general. I don't feel like it's the same level as Disney, like the same level of care in the park. You come across some good team members, but not quite the same. But I would say this park is Disney level. So just use any of that theme park knowledge that you have, and it's going to suit you pretty well at Epic. Just know some of the differences. Like we were asking about restaurant cancellations because we had made a bunch of reservations and we were like, when do we have to cancel these so that you don't get charged? And they actually had to ask around to figure it out. And they were like, oh, you don't. You could just not show up, which I don't know if they'll change that eventually, but there's a couple of little things that are different. But I think any of that theme park knowledge you have will suit you pretty well here.
All right. When are we going, Dave?
Well,
I'm going back. So
you're going back? Yeah. Okay.
yeah, let's go.
I've said this before. I'm kind of scared because I know years ago I going to Disney and then I went to Universal and I absolutely loved Universal. And it's been a long time. And I know if I go, it might be the Universal crush. I don't know.
Oh, no.
Especially this park. If you love Universal already, this is Universal leveled up.
Yeah.
I know that we're not going to talk about it on this podcast, but we then spent the next 5 days at Disney and had an outstanding time. This is not to say there's enough love in our hearts for both. You can watch WCW and WWE, folks.
I think it's a great addition for Orlando because you just have another option now. And Epic Universe sounds like it's epic, and the They picked a great name. I'm looking forward to it. And man, this information, you guys, is invaluable. I mean, some of the things, some of the hints and some of the tricks, some of the tips are just really amazing. So thank you so much for that.
And we didn't caveat enough, but like, as the two of us were talking, we were like, we have to make sure we say on the podcast, we were there within a month of opening.
Right.
So you could tell that they were like watching, like anytime there was a performer, they're watching. When you're rope dropping, they're watching, and not in like a someone's watching you way, but they're adjusting as they go. Like even this week, they announced Minecart Madness is no longer available for early park entry. And we did that, a week ago or 2 weeks ago. So take all of our tips or our experiences, but also if you're going anytime, like in the very near future, I would just like look around and double check that what we're saying is still valid. Because even releasing one gate versus the other gate, she was like, we're testing it out to figure out how to get everyone into the park at once.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was the planner here. You stayed spoiler free. I do not feel like that trip was lessened for me in any way because of the research that I did. In fact, in a certain sense, I feel like it enhanced it because I had a little more familiarity with what was coming my way, being like, I would have been stressed beyond belief if I didn't if someone in our party didn't have the research done to know what's going on. So if you're the lead planner, if you're someone who listens to podcasts, you're probably the lead planner. Do the research. It's not going to lessen the experience. I was overwhelmed by every single experience, from the rides to the characters to the food and the drink and the experience. You're not going to be let down. We didn't even mention, like, we interacted with an artist who painted our portraits, which was really cute. That was just kind of something on the fly. And we to play those games in Mario Land, you do have to buy a little band. It's like a $50 band. You have to buy that band to participate in the wand play in Harry Potter Land. You have to buy the version 2 of their wands to participate. I do believe version 1 works, but version 2 does more stuff. It interacts in a different way. That's another $50 item. But just do the research, familiarize yourself with what's different. And there are a lot of things different from Disney here. But the information is going to be changing as the years probably go by and as they continue to expand and change and adapt.
Well, Disney's better take note because, I mean, obviously the Liberty Bell and all that whole section is coming up, so we know it's coming. It's finally going to happen, but they need to really up their game here.
I saw pictures of Josh at Epic Universe. He was checking it out.
Absolutely.
I was looking for him. Coming in.
And that's smart. He's a smart man because, I mean, the upper echelon of Disney, all the ex-executives and all them, Imagineers, they all should go over there and check it out. And see what we could do, what could we do better, what could we do the same. Competition is good, and thank you guys so much. I'm looking forward to maybe going one day. But I'm scared because if I go, I might just want to keep going like Rebecca. I want to go back.
I know. We talked about, like, is this the year of the Universal annual pass? Because their annual pass is actually like a very good value, but Epic is obviously not on that yet. Our server at Narcoossee's actually works at Epic, and she kind of said, we ran into a bunch of people that had crossover randomly throughout our whole trip, but she said she thinks for a couple of years it will probably stay like this. She said she thinks like about 2 years, so she's not involved in that. So I don't know if it's time for a Universal annual pass yet, but maybe when that happens.
Well, right after the Great and Pleasantness, we almost got one because they were available sooner than Disney. The deals were amazing.
Residents.
I mean, we were that close.
The value, I think, is really good on they're much less expensive from what I've seen.
Rebecca was kind of asking and teasing out even to a bunch of the team members there, like, hey, when do you think this place is going to kind of feel epic or feel universal? Like, when are the fist fights going to break out? When is the public drunkenness going to make it unpleasant to kind of be here? When is the paint going to start chipping off? And actually, it was already starting to chip off within a month of opening. But it's like, when is this going to return back to kind of that status quo? There seemed to be, again, from our Narcoossee waitress, who was like an Imagineer at Universal, which was wild, and we had stood next to her. We did not know this. We had stood next to her the day before when Baby Toothless came out. She was there. She was monitoring.
He makes baby toothless.
Yeah. It was great. Anyway, and she said it'll be years because they're continuing to expand and develop and tweak. The expansion pads obviously are coming within, she believed, within a couple of years. She was not shy about, projecting that potentially was coming within the next 2 to 3 years, the expansion pads. And they want to keep that fresh and keep the pressure on Disney, I think, to continue to level up. And it's not really to keep the pressure on Disney. It's to allure Dave over to Universal, and I think pretty good. Now the question would be, can they level up the other two parks to this point? Is there something they can do with characters, with music, with some of the ride, maybe even, experiences being leveled up? I don't know. But anyway, this was a really exciting and positive, first foray.
Thank you guys so much. Great information. You guys are amazing. It's just been great talking to you guys about this.
Well, we love talking with you both, and Dave, we don't get to text with you enough, Dave. When are you going to come and be an Apple user so we can text you every day, every couple of hours, like Tony Ann?
First person you talk to in the morning, and the last person you talk to before you go to bed. No. All right, guys. Thank you so much, and thank you for our listeners. We'll see you again. If you have any questions, you can find Glenn and Rebecca in the Friends of the Disney Crush. If you could reach out and ask them, and or you could reach out to me and Dave at thedisneycrush@gmail.com, and we will reach out to them and maybe get any questions answered that you're looking for.
Rebecca, Glenn, thank you, and we will see you guys next week right here on the Disney Crush podcast. See you guys.
Bye.
I think that's it. All right.
The Truth has spoken!
Put a check on that. Can you do that, Dave? Can you put a check on that one?